everyone. So as you can tell from the title, I got a job. If you guys don't know, so I am getting my master's degree right now. I graduated last year with my bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of Arizona and graduating this spring with my master's degree in teaching and teacher education. Clearly, teaching has been a passion of mine my entire life. It's been my dream job, truly. I'm just so excited to finally announce it that it's all happening. If you guys follow me on other platforms, you may have already seen this and known a little bit more information, just mainly the grade. But in this video, I wanted to kind of take you guys through the whole process because I know everyone's interview process and journey to becoming a teacher is so different. So I kind of wanted to touch base with you guys and kind of tell my story and how that came about. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so as you guys know, I am in Tucson right now, like I said, for my master's degree. And initially when I came to U of A 5 years ago as a freshman, initially I was like, I'm going back to California to teach after I graduate. Like, there was no question about it. I was like, no, I'm gonna be a teacher in California. And that all began to change like last year after I graduated, mainly this year, where I was like, maybe I should just stay in Arizona just to start off because I am a certified teacher in Arizona, so I would be able to have a job, you know, like right away without having to go through a different process and transfer my credentials, which I could have done last summer. Like, I considered getting all my credentials done and everything, but the program does, you only have your credential for 5 years. So if I did get it in the summer, like I would already have like a year wasted and only have 4 years left. And then I was like, who knows what's gonna happen? And then you do have to pay like $100 for each test. So that was pricey. And so like, it just seemed like a big commitment to me at the time. And I was like, you know what, let me just stay in Arizona for a few years and we'll go from there. Because now I'm like, if I love it where I'm at, I can see myself being there long term. And if not, when I see myself going to California, that's obviously an option as well. So that's kind of where my mind was at with that whole process. So this year I was like, okay, well, I have a really, my car is super old. It's like a 2004 Volkswagen Beetle and it always has car problems. So I was like terrified about having to go and interview in positions in Phoenix, but I did want to move over there just because I've been in Tucson for 5 years and I do love Arizona, but I'm like, maybe I'll try something different because Tucson is not somewhere where I see myself being long term. That's for sure something that I do know. So I did want to move out that way, especially because I have a lot of friends who are from Phoenix and always tell me it would be a good place for me, and I trust their recommendations. So I was like, I'll go over there. But yeah, the whole car issue was a thing. So I'm like, how am I going to go to my interviews over there? It's like, so I kind of just had like the mindset. I was like, whatever, I'll just apply to jobs in Tucson. Maybe I should just start off here. And then I realized it was just because of like my fear of like, how am I gonna get there? And then I kind of just had these thoughts of like, just while apartment hunting and everything, like of potential apartments in Tucson, I was like, this just is not the place I see myself long term. Like, I kind of just want to get out of Tucson at this point and experience something new. And coming from California and coming to U of A not knowing anyone, I'm like, I know I can do that. I'm so young now and I don't have any attachments to any place that I'm like, let me experience something different. Let me start a new chapter in my life, you know? So yeah, so once I had those thoughts, I was like, okay, let me just now apply to jobs in Phoenix because my roommate had mentioned like, if you ever need a ride there, like we could give you a ride. So that planted the seed. It's like, if anything, I would be able to get there to my interviews. So this was like all at the end of last semester. And so once I came back for first semester or winter semester of grad school this year, I started like, my main focus was, okay, let me apply to jobs. Because initially I was like, okay, I know like a lot of teaching positions start hiring like in the spring, like after spring break. So I was gonna do that, but I know like I'm taking 6 classes right now in grad school. It's insane. So I was like, you know what, let me just start looking now, like where I would want to apply and if like positions are open or whatever, let me just start doing all of that process now, because I'm sure in the future I'm going to be so busy, and like it's just going to be a lot and overwhelming. And now that the semester just started, it's the first couple of weeks, let me dedicate my time to doing this. So that was like the mid to end of January, I started applying to positions out in Phoenix area. So how I kind of did this process was, there's this website called niche.com, and this is kind of like how I found like schools to apply to when I was applying to colleges in high school. And they just like have all these statistics and like grade rankings and reviews and just all this great information about different schools everywhere, like all schools. And so initially, since I don't know anything about Phoenix, I was just looked up like best school districts in Phoenix, and I just had like a long list of districts, and I just started like researching them and clicking the ones that came up and learning more about them and seeing if it would be like, you know, a good fit, do my values align, you know, all those things. And if I, you know, gravitated towards the school, I began applying. So for the job application process, since it was so early on, all the positions were anticipated positions, so I knew they would like keep it on file for when they were ready to start applying, because it was still early on before they knew even how many teachers were coming back, and if teachers were leaving, if teachers were switching grades, like all those things. So I knew like it would just be kept in a file, and I would like wait a couple months until that kind of begins, you know. So I applied to 4 different districts in January, a couple weeks of February. I'm not going to say which districts, but I'm really glad I did that at the time, because it was a really long process. Just like changing cover letters, because I had a resume already completed, but I just like updated it and kind of added a lot more to it with like a lot of like websites I learned about how to, you know, make your like change the wording on your resume, like, you know, instead of saying like created lesson plans, like how do you make that more, you know, interesting and more detailed. So I kind of like went through that, and then just like changing the cover letter for each school too was a lot, and gathering the references and information. So it definitely did take a lot of time. So I'm very glad I did that early on and just kind of like, you know, closed the laptop, waited a couple months. And at that time, it was probably, since they were like it was district wide, so for all the schools in the district, all anticipated positions, it was probably around 20 different teaching positions, honestly. So yeah, and I figured if I didn't get anything back after like April, like after March, the beginning of April, like I would apply to more districts, but at that time that was the plan. So flash forward to the week before spring break, so like 3 weeks ago, which is why I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks, just because these last few weeks have been absolutely crazy from like spring break and then all the job stuff. So I got an email from one school in this particular district about like a first grade resource position, and initially I was like, I'm not qualified to be a resource teacher, which if you guys don't know is kind of like a special education teacher who like works with like the grade level, like, you know, pulls them out of class and works with them one-on-one, which I am not like qualified for. My program was general education, so I was like thrown off by it, because at first I was so excited because I thought it was just a general teacher, and I was like, this is so exciting, you know, in a job interview, and like going through like talking to friends and family about it, everyone was like, just apply, or like just say yes, because you never know, they may request you for another position if they like you enough, you know, they can move you around, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, let me just accept the position, or not the position, accept the interview. And so also when I got the email, it was like an interview for like the week after, which I was leaving for spring break the next day. So I was like kind of panicking also, because I was like, I'm not going to be here, I'm going to be back in California, so how am I going to get to Phoenix? But all my friends were like, just request for a virtual interview, like because of the pandemic, like that's just a very normal thing now. So I was like, okay, whatever, let me ask for that as well. So I got the approval for a virtual interview. She clarified the next day that it was a general first grade teacher. So I was like, okay, exciting. Everything's working out, good to go. So then I had my interview. I will say I studied like extensively for my job interview. I had like 8 pages worth of questions and answers and was just practicing a ton, watched tons of YouTube videos, watched lots of TikToks, and had questions from like principals from when I student taught, so, and in my program. So I had like a plethora of information like over my last 4 year or like my couple years in the programs, because every time we had interview questions I always like made note of that because I knew I would need that in the future. So along with that and YouTube videos and stuff, I had like 8 pages of questions and answers because I just wanted to be prepared for any question that was thrown at me. The worst thing ever is like to be like asked a question and you not know how to answer it. So I just wanted to be as prepared as possible because, you know, this is like my dream job, so I'm like, I want a job, you know. So I had that interview over spring break and it was virtual, and I thought I had done really well. I felt like I answered all the questions, hit all the points I wanted to. It was really quick. The interviewers were like 15 minutes late, so I was like, okay. And then it was like a really quick process, 10 minutes long. That was that. But one thing that I didn't mention, but let me back up a few days. So before that day where I was like at the airport going to spring break, I did get like a call from another principal at this other school within the same district, and right away I was like, she's awesome, like that is someone I would want to work for. And it was like a 5-minute conversation when she called me at the airport. Like I was just like blown away, got great vibes, great energy. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm really gonna like this one. And we scheduled the interview for that following Monday. So I had an interview on Wednesday, and then 5 days later I had a second interview for also first grade position in the same district, just 2 different schools. So after that first interview went on, I was like, I know I did really well, but like I was not really vibing with the whole process. I don't know, like, you know how you just get vibes and energy, and I was just like, I don't know, I feel like I'm really gonna like the second interview. So I was honestly like holding out for that one. I had that interview Monday. It was like actually the day that I came back, and again it was offered to be virtual to me. Like I didn't even have to ask. Like she said, are you able to like do an interview? It could be virtual, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, virtual would be great, because she knew that I was like in grad school here in Tucson. So like that was already awesome. I was like, thank goodness, another stress relief off. Like I don't have to worry about my car making it a couple hours, you know, like, because I like driving short distances with my car. So yeah, that worked out. And I had that interview the day I came back, or I was here, but like it was the Monday of the first week back after spring break. And so I had that interview and it went so well. It was more so of like a conversation, and I just like was like, yes, I want this job, like right away. Told my family I want this job. But during the interview process, she did ask if I would want to be in a 3rd grade position. And at first I was like, you know, I like all grades, you know, like for their own unique reasons, you know. And she was like, okay, but if you were to talk to your parents, like what grade would you say you'd prefer? And I was like, okay, yeah, I would prefer 3rd grade. I do prefer like more so 3 through 5, just in my experiences. And so that was that. And then I was just like, okay, now it's the waiting game. I really hope I get this job. I love it. I feel like it's a really great fit for me. And yeah. So then the next day I got a call from this principal, and she said, how would you feel about 4th grade? I think you'd be like a really great fit and be like a good team with like the other 4th grade teacher, like grade level team. Like, do you want to meet with her today? And I was like, yeah, like I love 4th grade as well. Like I said, 3 through 5, I do like upper graders a lot. So I was very excited, but I was kind of like nervous still. I was like, okay, is this like another interview? Like, are we just getting to know each other? Like, what are the vibes? But I did get on a call with the other 4th grade teacher at this school, and it went so well. We talked for so long, and I was just like more so excited. I was like, yep, this is just a great fit. I think it's like so far the perfect school for me. I'm very excited. And so the waiting game came, and then the next day I got the job offer to be a 4th grade teacher at like pretty much my dream school. So yeah, I am just so ecstatic. I cannot wait. Yeah, I'll be moving to Phoenix, you know, pretty much not knowing anyone. Again, a huge another life milestone and everything, but I am seriously so excited to just start this new chapter, start my dream job. I know it's gonna be very challenging and very hard, but I'm just so excited to begin that. But yeah, and I am going to like start promoting my teacher Instagram. I do have a teacher Instagram. It's at amandamonroee, where you guys can follow. We're gonna kind of shift some gears here on this channel, transitioning into, you know, my post-graduate school life, you know, my real adult life now. So go ahead and follow my teacher Instagram. Yeah, I'm really trying to grow that and cannot wait to share with you guys so many resources this summer, like kind of help like have you guys be along with the process of building my classroom and everything. And I do have like an Amazon wish list if you guys want to help support grow my classroom. That will also be linked down below. But yeah, so excited. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.